Hey church, turn with me to 1 Samuel 26. This is a story of David yet again sparing Saul's life. We see Abishai, one of David's men, showing great courage when he volunteered to go into Saul's camp with David. And in the heat of emotion, Abishai wanted to kill Saul, but we see David restraining him. Although Abishai was only trying to protect David, his leader, David could not hurt Saul because of his respect for Saul's authority and also his position as God's anointed king. Abishai may have disagreed with David, but he also respected the one in authority over him. Eventually, he actually becomes one of the greatest warriors in David's army. You can skip ahead to 2 Samuel chapter 23 for more on that. But look at verse 8. The strongest moral decisions, you guys, are the ones we make before temptation strikes. David was determined to follow God, and this carried over into his decision not to murder God's anointed king Saul, even when his men and the circumstances seemed to make it a feasible option. And it begs the question, who would I have been like in such a situation? Would I have been like David, or would I have been like David's men? To be like David and follow God, we must realize that we can't do wrong. We can't do wrong in order to execute justice. Even when our closest friends counsel us to do something that seems right, we must always put God's commands first. So, why did David refuse to kill Saul? We see God had placed Saul in power and had not yet removed him. David did not want to run ahead of God's timing. We're in similar situations when we have a leader, for example, in a church or government, who are unfaithful or incompetent. It might be easy for us to criticize or to move against a leader oblivious to God's hidden purposes and timing. Determining not to do wrong, David left Saul's destiny in God's hands. While we should not ignore sin or sit back and allow evil leaders to carry out their wickedness, neither should we take actions that are against God's laws. We work for righteousness while at the same time trusting God. So David could have killed Saul and Abner, but he would have disobeyed God and possibly set into motion cycles of vengeance and assassination. Instead, we see here he was creative, right? He took a spear and a water jug, showing that he could have killed the king, but he didn't do it. And he made the point that he had great respect for both God and God's anointed king. When you need to make a point, the lesson here, look for creative, God-honoring ways to do so. We often look at things like a this or that option, but often there is a third way. Look for the third way. Maybe you're in a situation today that seems impossible. Ask the Lord to give you a third way. Ask the Lord to give you His solution. Peace be with you. You guys have a great day.